Welcome to the Unbothered Bros. I'm your host Jay, and today we have another special episode. And before we start the episode, I would like to introduce the panel. And today we have my brother Jacob.
Hey everyone, I'm happy to be back.
And we have my sister Yami.
Hello, everybody.
And we finally get to introduce our newest member, one of the young ladies that's going to be joining Yami in later on episodes when they do their own, when they have their own panel and they talk about lady stuff. So I have the privilege to introduce my cousin, my beautiful cousin, Christy Molina.
God bless, God bless. Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Yes. So, part of this podcast, well, we're excited to have you, first of all. We've been, the original people that started, we were talking, and like I said the same thing about Yami. We were trying to start something with the young ladies. Because what we saw is the analytics, and it shows us how many guys are watching and how many ladies are watching. And we were talking, and I started telling these guys, hey, we need young ladies on the team. And so we introduced Yami not too long ago, and now we're introducing Christy, and it's a privilege to have the two young ladies actually here on today's episode. And I will give it off to Yami and see what you got to say.
So I'm super excited to be starting the lady side of the podcast. Not that everything that we've said previously isn't for girls, obviously it's for everybody, but there are some things that we can talk about that obviously guys can't talk about. And so we hope to reach, I guess, everybody in this aspect. And me personally, I would love to have another girl host with me. So this is good for me. And I'm super excited to be working with Christy. Obviously, we've known each other for many years. Oh, I've known all of these people for many years, but it's gonna be a fun journey.
Yeah, for sure.
To initiate this podcast, Christy, we would like to ask you for your testimony. So tell us about your journey with God and what brought you here.
Amen. Yeah, I mean, to keep it short, my name's Christy. I'm 15 years old. I play guitar for our band at church. I went through what most kids go through, like through middle school and high school. I faced a lot of peer pressure and having destructive habits and just overall doing things that led me to a life led by my fleshly desires. And I just hope I can reach someone right now that's going through that same thing that I had to go through. But I grew up believing in God. I always believed in Him. I went to church since I was little. I grew up in church, but I did stop going like for a while. I would say around like elementary till 6th grade. I know I started coming back, but I've always believed in Him. It's just that at the time, no one would even think I was Christian. Like by the way I looked, by the way I talked, no one would even think I believed in God. Unfortunately, but until 8th grade, I would say that's when I started going to church more and more, and I started coming back little by little. And a women's camp came, and I think you remember this one. That's my first camp, and I was like, okay, I'll go. I went with my mom, my grandma, and some other family members. I can't remember the specific service, and honestly, I didn't remember any of the services, like what they were talking about, because it was all in Spanish. So you can imagine I wasn't like getting any word. So, but the sister, she did an altar call, and I went, and I see everyone, raising their hands, receiving. I was like, I was having a lot of insecure thoughts, like what people were thinking of me and who was looking at me.
And how old were you when that was happening?
I think that was like 13 probably. Yeah, I think that was like 2022. And so I was like, okay, whatever. I'll lift my hands, give it a shot, and trying to receive. And God bless, God willing, I did receive. And now my life has been different ever since. I don't want to say, I'll be honest, I don't want to say I was clean ever, after that.
Yeah.
I wasn't, good,
Mm-hmm.
like high school, my freshman year, it was like that's when it got bad. But I praise God because he saved me right before I joined the ministry, like so just in time, you know. Like I could have been somewhere worse right now.
Yeah.
But God, you know, swooped in and gave me another chance. So I praise his name for that.
And how was that experience? That experience at camp. What did you feel like? So you're coming in as a 13-year-old. What did you feel at that moment when God completely just took over? Because I mean, like you said, you were like, I'm gonna just give it a shot and see what happens. What was the change in your heart, in your mind,
Right.
when all that happened?
So, well, I kind of went knowing that I wasn't really going to get anything out of it because it was all in Spanish. But when I went to the altar, yeah, like I was kind of like, whatever, I'll raise my hands. And when I did receive, I think like for most people, when they first receive the Holy Spirit, they can't really describe the feeling.
Yeah.
I can't describe the feeling at all. Like I can't, it's beyond, you know, something you can, explain. But after I did, I remember I went back to my seat and God wasn't done with me. I kept receiving at my seat. So I can just say I definitely felt like at peace. Like God said, like, you know, like I have something for you. I have a purpose for you. Because I didn't know what I had a purpose for.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was even going to be in a ministry before my transformation. I never thought I would be playing guitar up in the altar, and neither did I think I was going to be doing this right now. So I'm just very blessed that God did save me, because it's not something I've talked about like to anyone.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not something I've gotten out, and it's still something that I think about because I really could have been somewhere else right now, but God did save me. Like that's all I can say. Like I don't know. Like, yeah.
Well, I've seen your transformation. I mean, I've seen you since you were a baby. I mean, I'm the oldest cousin out of all of them, so I saw her. I saw how she would dress.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And out of nowhere, I saw the transformation right after that camp, where it went from wearing pants to skirts.
Yeah.
Like it was just of course, it took time.
It took time.
Right. It
Sure.
took time. It wasn't like a quick thing, but little by little, the family started seeing like, oh, something's happening here, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I saw it, and since that day on, I saw that you never went back to.
Right, and that's something I want to talk about too with like young ladies about pants and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was something that was hard for me to let go.
Yeah,
Because
I
you
remember.
saw I would wear pants a lot. That was the only thing I would wear. But it was hard to let that go. It was hard to let friends go. Like at school, I mean, like when I said I faced a lot of peer pressure, like stuff my friends would offer me, you know, and stuff like that. It was hard to let go because those were the only friends I had, you know. So it's almost like, how am I supposed to just cut them off? So it was hard to do that, but you know, I just had to trust the process because it's definitely hard. But that's why I want to reach somebody that's going through that and be that voice for that person, because it's not hard, but it takes a lot of prayer and strength. It really does.
And like, who were the examples in your life that not so much as like you want to be that person, but they're like, okay, like this is the goal I have.
Right. Honestly, it was kind of hard having examples because I didn't really have anybody to help me through that time, except for I would say my mom, just my parents in general, but I wouldn't go to them a lot. That's the thing. I was very like quiet. You know, like they didn't have no idea none of this was going on. I surprised them, and it hurts me, you know, that out of nowhere this happened, and it hurts them, you know, like I lost their trust and stuff. Yeah. So it's like I was kind of alone during this time, very, very alone. So I think I just had to depend on myself and like just ask God a lot. I think God was my role model, if anything. So.
Well, first I want to say thank you so much for sharing your testimony and, you know, your story of how you've came to this point in life. One thing that we get from all these testimonies, I hear that I feel like I brought it up before on this podcast, but I just want to bring it up again, is just that whenever someone, in their life, they've made that first encounter with God, it's just a change within them that begins, inwards. And from there, it just begins to change how they start to act, how they start to dress, how they start to walk, how they start to talk. And it changes everything about them. So it's just one thing I want to, I guess, bring up again and mention once again that once God touches your life and you have that encounter with him, it's really amazing how he begins to change your life, how he did for you, how he did for so many of our previous guests, and it's really incredible. So thank you for sharing your testimony. And from the team, we had a couple questions that we wanted to ask you. And our first question here is, we want to ask you, where do you see yourself like going with the podcast? We want to ask, what do you envision for yourself by joining the team?
Right. So, yeah, I see myself like being that voice for a young lady or even a young person out there, that had to go through the things I had to go through. I just want to be that voice for that person, especially bringing like a new perspective and new ideas to the table as a young lady. So I think that's why I envision myself being with this podcast. I'm learning alongside you guys as well as with the viewers. I'm learning with y'all. From these past episodes, I've learned a lot as well.
Yeah.
And
Right,
seeing,
yeah.
I've learned a lot.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Like
being
having,
here,
yeah,
sitting
like,
in the seat.
we
Yeah.
learn so much, and it's crazy that we get the privilege to have like amazing people of God just sit here,
Right.
and we're just like students. Like, we're the host, and we ask the questions, but at the same time we're learning as we
Definitely.
go.
Right,
So
yeah.
that's the amazing part, and I know you're gonna learn a lot. Trust me.
For sure.
Because
I've
Jacob's
heard-
always,
yeah.
Jacob, he's always like, "Oh man, I learned a lot." After the podcast, we talk about it. So yeah,
We're always here learning right alongside the audience.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
they bring so much wisdom, all of our guests, and it's just awesome. And we're just here kind of as, I guess, guiding voices with asking these questions and everything.
Right.
So it's
yeah,
really,
and that was the vision.
Yeah.
That was the vision. It's to learn, because us. I know when growing up, I thought I knew it all at the age of like 15. You're like, who's gonna tell me what to do? And then, but then when you grow up, you're like, okay, this is what they were talking about.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot. I know you're gonna learn a lot. All of us have learned so much just being here, sitting here. I do have another question, and we ask everybody this. I mean, we've asked Jacob, we've asked Yami. I got asked this the last episode as well.
Yeah.
And no one's ever asked me this. But what does being unbothered in Christ mean to you?
Yeah, so actually that question is very important to me because being unbothered is something I had to really learn how to do.
Yeah.
Especially like before my transformation, like I cared a lot about what people thought of me and like their idea of me. I cared about, like if they thought I looked good, like I was walking through the hallways and I was very self-conscious, like make sure my hair was good, make sure my fit looks good, you know? So I was very self-conscious, and so that's very important to me. Like I had to really like, learn how to be unbothered and just tell myself whatever, like, but I've come to the realization now that my identity and my worth are not tied with the world's opinions.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've learned to be unbothered a lot. I think now I can, confidently say that whatever people have to say about me, I don't care. I really don't care. I could care less. Yeah. I could care less.
Yeah. So alongside like with the podcast, what like you said your goals, what you want to accomplish in the podcast, what unbothered means to you, but I guess on a girl's perspective, what is it that you wish you had more of? Like you touched on it a little bit, but I want you to kind of go in more detail. What is it that you had that you wish that you could just have? What is something that you wish you had when you were, going through what you were going through,
Right, yeah.
that you want to give to another young girl?
Yeah, for sure. Well, like when I was going through that, I really wanted like a good friend to talk to. I feel like I didn't have like a good friend to just spill all that stuff to. Like, so that's what I would have wanted.
Yeah.
I would have wanted that, like a good girl, another girl to talk to. Like just somebody to hear me out. But when I was going through that, I didn't only want somebody to hear me, but understand me, like somebody to relate to me, you know? Because I feel like I have tried to talk to people, but they could never relate to me.
Right.
You know, all they could say was like, okay, oh yeah, same, you know?
So you wanted like feedback, advice.
Like actual advice. And I know my parents mean like well and everything, but I know sometimes it's hard to go to parents for sure. It's so hard to go to parents about it. You know, especially if you know they're not gonna be so happy about it. Like, so it was definitely hard going to my parents, but I would definitely try to hint it to my mom sometimes, like, hey, I just need help with my friends. You know, I would even sometimes go crying to her about my friends and friend problems I had, because again, I was like a big people pleaser. I would really like want people like me to be on somebody's good side. So when they were like not like, you know, when they were, oh my god, it was bad. Like when they would not talk to me for like a week, I would start crying, bro.
Like the heartache, like,
dude, I know. Like, I felt like they didn't like me anymore. I was like, it was bad. But now it's like I need my space. I don't want you to talk to me every hour or something.
I definitely feel like that's like a girl thing in a way, because
we care.
We care a lot about our images.
I agree.
And how we are.
Definitely.
We're always.
It's definitely a girl thing.
we're caterers. We're nurturers. Is what we are. And you know, guys are just like, why would I care? You know, but as a girl, you know, you're kind of like, okay, I want to make sure you're okay. So in order for me to make sure you're okay, I need to be okay with you, and I need to cater to you, and I need to make sure you're okay before I'm okay. And then you lose yourself in that process, you know, because you're always like, okay, what am like, I need to be there to support you, you know, and so that's like a lot of things that I've seen with younger girls, especially because if you look at social media, it's just it's images of girls, and all of the girls are just comparing themselves to like what they see, and so obviously when you're young, that's all you like, you want to be what everyone else likes, and you know, when you're not firm in your identity, it's so easy to just manipulate yourself and you change yourself to cater to each individual person, and you lose yourself. You lose your identity, and that's honestly something that I had to go through. Like, I literally, there was a point in my life where I was like, you know, what do I like? You know, like, I'm always like, I should help this person. I'm helping this person. I'm liking this because they like this. But then I had to be like, hold up, like, what is it that Yami likes, you know, like what do I need, you know, and that takes a lot of like self reflection and self building, you know, and I feel like we need to kind of voice it in a way, because I feel like a lot of girls don't understand their worth a lot of the ways, and it's especially like with Pentecostal girls, because you know, we're more than obviously than just looks. We're more than just the hair and the skirts. Like there's more than just what is outward. And so I really like relate to you on that aspect, because like, you know, because those are things that aren't voiced enough. You know. And speaking like on the outward modesty, like how did you change yourself inwardly? Like inward modesty.
Well, I wanted to touch on what you said before. You can lose yourself. It's really like I definitely lost myself. Like I lost my identity. Like I felt like I was like the listener, you know. Like everybody would come to me for their problems. I was always giving that advice, but never receiving advice, you know. So I definitely lost myself doing that.
You needed a you.
I needed it. Yeah, exactly. I needed a you. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So for my inwards, I feel like I'm still working on that for sure. Everybody's not perfect. You know? Everybody's not perfect, but I've definitely had a big transformation mentally. Like with anything now, I definitely go to God. Like I feel like out of everything, I can really trust Him. Out of everyone, like, I mean, after Him is my parents. I guess. Or I can't really trust myself either. You know, sometimes. Because I don't want to fall back into what I used to do. You know. Right. It's very easy to fall back into that.
That's true.
So. You know, at the end of the day, I trust Him the most. He's like, that's the one I go to for anything. He's the one that gives me peace on everything, and He's the one that gives me clarity on whatever I need answers to. So that's who I go to. But for like my inwards, it's still taking a lot. But like I just think a lot, and those thoughts would, like, it would take over, and they would lead to bad thoughts, so I had to like learn how to like calm those thoughts down, because like I know there are other people that think that way too. So like,
how has that changed though?
I feel like
now in Christ, like,
right,
having those thoughts, how has that changed?
I think now it's like when I have those thoughts, when I feel it getting like like I'm staying up at night so late just thinking, I just pray and I knock out. knock out.
That's nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, I think praying definitely gives me peace. Like, it's like talking to a friend that he's been the friend that I've wanted,
That's something that I've learned too, is like, when you pray, a lot of people are like, oh, you got to say it like this and like that, like this and like that, right?
Right.
But I've learned that not only is God our Father and we respect him as a father, he's also our friend.
Yes.
And prayer has completely changed with me. I used to just pray to him as a father, like, gracias Dios por todo, gracias this, that, and now it's like, God, like, I'm feeling like this.
Yeah.
Like, I feel down. Please pick me up,
right?
And stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then you kind of go more into detail of why you feel like that and stuff like that. So I've learned that, now I pray as if, he's my friend as well. He's going to be there to help me.
And that in itself, it's building a relationship with God. Because, at the beginning, lots of people, they say, oh, I don't know how to pray. I don't know how to come to God. So, they don't really talk to God in a way that they talk to others, or they kind of like give God something that's not really from them. Yeah, they repeat themselves.
Yeah.
They give God something that's not really from them. They're just like kind of plastering an image even to God. But once we start really getting intimate with God and giving him all the details and coming to God like with our true selves, that's when we start building a relationship with God. And that's really where we start learning how to pray, when we start being honest with God, because God doesn't want us to come with all, the big words. He doesn't want us to come with, sounding so proper. He wants us to come as we are. And then us coming as we are, he will change us, he will transform us, and that's where he begins to move in us once we start building that relationship with him and praying towards him, as we are.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing, Christy, the transformation, right? Now God uses you in an amazing way. God uses you in the ministry of worship. Because we don't just do music, we worship God. Right. We don't just sing just to sing, we worship. And you worship, and I've seen you, how God has used you with the amazing talent that he's giving you. Can you explain to us, like, how did you get to that point, from like that change that happened at camp to now you were like, hey, I'm interested in learning this. Were you expecting to learn it to worship God with it, or you were just learning it just to learn it?
Yeah, so at first I was just learning it to learn it. I never thought I would be in the altar right now, doing what I do right now and worshiping him. I never did think that I would be doing that. I started playing guitar when I was like 11. But before I got into the ministry, like, that's when, like I said, God saved me. But freshman year was like, that was like the worst. Like, that was like the tip, of the iceberg. Like, but that's where I said, I probably wouldn't even be here right now. I probably would have been somewhere worse. So I was learning guitar like around 11. So it's almost 4 years now, about to be 4 years. Yeah. So yay. 4 years of guitar. And I'm still learning. It's just such a fun instrument. I love it. And I love music. I really, really love music. And when I was going to church, like, my eyes would be so set on the the guitar, or just not even the guitar, everything, every instrument. Like right now it's set on the drums. I really want to learn the drums. Like, but yeah, my eyes were like focused and on the music, like the worship. But and then so that's when that happened, and I got into the teens band. That's when I started doing specials, and unfortunately, I wasn't good then still, even was still doing specials. I loved it. Like, don't get me wrong, I was doing it. But once I like left church, dude, I was a whole nother person. It was, and I feel like that's how it is most times. You know, you have one foot in and one foot out.
Yeah.
And that's how I was before my transformation. It was like, you know, I was a different person at school and a whole nother person at church, you know?
And I think a lot of teens are like that right now.
Right, yeah.
You know, I remember I was that guy. I was one person at school, another person at church.
Yeah.
And we all go through it.
Yeah, exactly.
We all go through it.
Yeah.
Especially if you're born in church.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially if you're born in
like
church.
we're like, I kind of want to know what it feels to be them.
Yeah.
Right.
But then you go and you kind of feel it and you're like,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, I was there. I was there with the world. I definitely experienced a lot of stuff like on the world side. And it's not worth it. It really isn't.
Yeah.
Like, I feel so much better now, like where I'm at. Of course, I don't want to stay comfortable. I'm gonna keep moving forward from where I am. But it's been a journey with the music ministry, and you know, it's another topic about the music ministry. But the music ministry is definitely like not easy too, because
that's right.
you know, the enemy, he was a leader of the worship. So he attacks his ministry the most.
We all know that. We're all in the ministry, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody in the panel. Everybody in the panel, we're part of the music ministry.
Yeah.
The worship ministry.
Yeah.
The worship ministry.
Yeah, I think I'm getting close to a year being part of, because I think I joined around September. I'm not sure if you remember.
Yes.
I think it was around September.
Yes.
So September will be a year. But I remember when I first joined, I definitely got knocked down like quick. Like spiritually wise. Like I joined the first, and I played like the Sunday. My first service was a Sunday, so it was pretty like it was a good service. I loved it. And I'll never forget that. But like right after then, you know, the enemy attacked me, and it was like, geez, mentally, it was like a mental attack, and I got knocked down so quick, and like I picked myself back up eventually, you know, quickly, thank God, and now I feel like I'm pretty firm where I stand. Like I really like. I'm strong where I am now. I can say that. I can say that confidently.
And I like the way you worship, right? Because you know, most of the people, you know, the people that sing during worship, they kind of have eyes on the people that are singing most of the time. But if you really look at some of the musicians, like these people are worshiping too, with their instruments. I've seen you, the way you worship, and you don't play just to play, right? I've seen you, the way you play, and you play this instrument for God. You let God completely control every aspect of you, right? I've seen how God has touched you even while you're playing, and you just fall into tears and you let go of the guitar and you start worshiping. And that's true worship right there, right? It's not about just playing, making noise. It's about truly doing it with all your heart for God.
Yeah.
And I seen it while you're doing it.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's being up there, like at least for me, it's you feel the spirit move up there in the altar.
Oh yeah.
You know? And like of course I get it, like especially with the piano. Like it's kinda hard to lift your hands when playing the piano. Yeah. It's definitely hard for that.
I wonder who plays the piano
the
here.
drums.
I wonder.
Yes.
I don't know.
Which is understandable, of course, but I feel like you definitely have to let go. If you feel like you're receiving, if you feel like God's trying to, you know, talk to you, you have to just let go.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you know, we're His worshipers. We're His instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell God every time before I go on the altar. I don't want to go on that altar with, you know, bloody hands.
Yeah.
I want to repent first before I go on that altar.
Yeah.
So I can be, you know, clean up there. And yeah, being up there it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like I don't really get like nervous too. I've heard a lot of people ask me if I get nervous. I don't really get nervous with all the people. But like I think I'm like I don't get nervous. I get very excited. Very excited.
Yeah.
But it's a very beautiful ministry.
Yeah.
Very, very beautiful. Every word, every like note, you know, it's for Him.
Yeah.
And like I really stand on that. Like I really stand on like being like worshiping, you know, not just standing there and playing. Like if I feel like he's trying to talk to me, I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna just let go.
Yeah.
And definitely give it back.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of us need to learn that.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I understand, because I understand, like I understand, people can't do that, like sometimes, because you're really focused, which it's understandable. We have to sound good as well.
Yeah, of course.
Which of course is another topic. But like, at the end of the day, if you have to receive, you have to receive. So
and our bodies are really just the temples,
right? Exactly.
Our bodies are meant to worship. Our instruments and our voices are extensions of that. Like the song says, if I can't worship you with my hands, let me worship you with my feet. If I can't worship with my feet, let me worship with my voice. God has given us these instruments, these tools to use as a form of worship. But at the end of the day, it's us that worship, and our instruments, our voices are extensions of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's the basis of literally a Christian life, like you can't say you're a Christian and then you don't worship, because it goes hand in hand. And the ministry, it's such a beautiful ministry. It's a beautiful ministry that, that when you're called to it, like you have this longing for it in your heart. Like it's just like it rests with you, like in your soul. And then it's like, if you don't feel right, this has happened to me once. I didn't feel right for a service or Vihita or something, and I was like, I'm not going up there, because I was just not right. I was not in the mental space, I was not in the spiritual space for it. I was like, God, I can't do it, and I didn't. But there's another occasion where I was like, God, I can't, like I'm going through all of this, I can't do it. But God was like, sometimes it wasn't a voice, it was just kind of, I don't know, like that feeling. I don't know, like it wasn't like yummy, but it was like
yummy.
Like, yeah. It was just kind of like a feeling, like a feeling. I don't know how to word it, but I felt in my heart that God was like broken people need someone broken to speak to them sometimes. Because the verse says we don't have. There's a verse in the Bible that says we don't have a priest that can't relate to us. But we had Jesus that went through what we went through and can relate to us. So sometimes broken people need a broken person to speak life, because that's how we can connect to the congregation. So, in that way, music is so beautiful, because it really brings us to the intimacy, to an intimate level, not only with God, but with the congregation. And it's like, I think it's such an honor. And it's such a privilege to even step foot, because at the end of the day, that is the altar. That is the holy place of God, and you can't mistreat it. And it's such an honor to even have the opportunity to play or sing or do anything on that altar. And I think it's so beautiful how you fell in love with that, with the worship first. With the instrument first, but you grew to fall in love with the worship aspect of it. Because one thing to love the instrument, but you also have to love like who that instrument is for. Exactly. And besides music ministry, I kind of want to go more into other ministries. Was there any ministries besides music that you kind of you were kind of drawn to?
I think for a long time I thought the media ministry was really cool, like going around the cameras. Like that was my first ministry before music. Really? I did hear about that, but I heard that it got in the way of the music ministry with like the schedules and stuff. So that's what I heard, like, and I was like, okay, I can't do that because it's gonna get in the way of practice and stuff.
Now you're in a new ministry.
Yeah, exactly.
Unbothered Bros.
Unbothered Bros. I thought that the media was pretty cool. And like with my dad, like we used to do a lot of like, producing. Like I think you remember, Jay, like that little room we had. We had like, we kind of had like a setup like this.
We were freestyle.
We were freestyle. Yes, my brother would rap and stuff. But yeah, the media was pretty cool. Other than that, I feel like there wasn't really that much of a ministry. It was just really a lot of the music ministry. I always wanted to do a little bit of everything: drums, piano, bass. I wanted to do everything until I picked up the guitar. Actually, I don't even remember what made me want to do guitar, but it's crazy. Like, I saw a photo of me when I was little, and there was a guitar in the background. It was Willie's guitar, Brother Willie's guitar.
Wow.
So it was almost like it was almost like it was meant to be. Yeah. And then I remember when I was like, I don't even know, like maybe 6, I had like a Hello Kitty acoustic guitar too.
Yeah.
So hey, I don't know.
Like, it was always there.
It was always there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure though. I think I can speak for my family. Like, we all love music.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we all love it's in our blood.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, like I can't do nothing without having to have music in my ears. I'm helping like clean. I need music playing in my ears all the time.
Yeah, I remember music will make her dance too.
Oh, dude, let's not get into that.
Nah, she always loved music. I remember you would put like some beat and ahí estaba ella like, you know, bobbing her head or something. Yeah.
I was really good at remembering lyrics too, so I would like flow with the song and stuff. But yeah, I've always loved music. And then I was gonna say about the ministry, like worship, like it's very important because we're the ones leading worship, so you can definitely feel like that atmosphere change of who's singing and who's, you know. So you can definitely like, yeah, you can definitely feel the atmosphere change.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I remember, back to my, you know, my testimony again. Like, I think that's why he saved me, like, before I even got on that altar, because it was like I said before I even joined the ministry. So he was like I really felt it in my heart, and I told my dad this. It was almost like he was saying, like, I'm not gonna let you do this stuff and be in my ministry, you know. Like, you're either gonna stop this stuff and, you know, or just not play in the ministry at all. Because I loved doing the teen specials and everything, but when I heard like Adoni send that message, all right, you know, we're gonna try to put you, you know, up there, and you're gonna start practicing with the main band, like literally, like that's when all that stuff went down. I was like, oh my gosh, I really felt it in my heart, like I can't be in a ministry, I can't be in that altar, but also, you know, backlashing and being a whole different person outside of church. So he changed that pretty quick. Now I'm like, you know, I feel like I spend most of my time at church. Like, I spend most of my time at church. I'm always like practicing, but I love it at the end of the day. I love practicing. I always practice, like, you know, like my parents always say, like, they don't have to tell me. Like, I'll practice on my own.
I know. I know. I see it. We'd be at your house and I don't know, we're just here. So, you know, whatever she's playing, and we're like, she really loves what she does, you know. And that's what anything that, you know, if you like to sing, you like to play drums, you like soccer, basketball, you'll put the practice in, right? And you'll find coaches to teach you how to do certain things.
Yeah, that's the thing about a ministry. You really have to love it. You really have to be passionate about it, because you can tell who's just there to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
like
about,
there has to be like actual love behind it.
Yes.
And passion behind it.
Yes.
For sure.
Oh yeah, I'm all about servitude. That's a whole other topic.
That's a whole. I can rant about
that.
I
I love servitude, man.
For
like
real.
that's the whole thing I'm always talking about. But yeah, it's so beautiful how you love ministry, because it's a beautiful thing when young people love ministry.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you did talk about it like during your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you started very young too, right? Like, how old were you?
I started ministry when I was 9.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, no, wait, I'm lying, guys, I'm lying. 14. I was 14.
How about to say
Wait.
9?
9. I'm
That's-
mixing up my ages. I
How you
was
get that mixed
14. I was 14 when I started media, but that was 2020. So then COVID happened, and I was just like, dang, I can't even do media. I just started this ministry. And then November of that year, Jocelyn calls me. She was the leader at the time. She was like, oh my gosh, like, we were going to ask you to be in music ministry, but COVID happened, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to be a part of it? I was like, yes. Because I've always had that love for it since I was little too, you know. Sunday school, we did like the cultos explosivos and stuff. Johnny was also in those cultos explosivos too.
Boy, Johnny.
We were
Johnny
always
Tsunami.
up singing.
Professional cameraman.
Professional media background. No, but yeah. I mean, I always had a love for music as well. You know, for singing, it was always. But it's not some for me. It's not something that's in the family. You know, like among like my parents at least. Like it's not like a generational thing. It's a few members of my family, like extended family, but it was never like I wasn't raised with music all around me. I wasn't raised with just, you know, musicians. You know, it's just kind of something that I picked up. And I remember my grandma telling me, she's like, I prayed for this. I prayed for a vocalist. And she's like, and you ended up singing. And I'm just like, oh, thanks, grandma. Like, thank you so much.
Well, I guess at this point we're kind of concluding the podcast, but so far I think, you know, thank you for everything and all of your input and your feedback as far as, you know, you talked about the ministry, you talked about your past and your testimony and everything. So we want to say thank you for that, and also for accepting to be on this team of Unbothered Bros. It's truly an honor.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
One thing that I was thinking, you know, while you two were talking, and it's like
they zoned us out.
Yeah.
They zoned us out completely.
Their girl talk. I was just thinking, like, man, you know, what Yami said is right. There's not that many voices like this out there. So really, there needs to be someone to speak that voice. There needs to be examples out there for young girls.
That you can start very young.
Yeah, there needs to be examples of and role models of who to follow out there, because, you know, there's not a lot of examples. There's not a lot of role models up there. So it's just awesome that we're able to do this, that there's a platform now for the both of you to speak and to make your voices heard, so your voices can be, you know, can reach out to someone who may need it, someone who may be going through the same thing that the both of you were going through, or was going through what one of you was going for. Now someone can reach. Now you can reach out to someone, and you can hear. They can hear what you've been through, and they can say, I relate to that, and I can learn from that, and I know that I can grow. Just like they did, I can grow from that as well. So we thank you for everything, for joining the Unbothered Bros team. It's truly an honor. We're growing, thank God. He's doing great things. He's doing great things here.
Yeah, we got a special episode. Well, I always say special episode, right? We got an episode coming up, and it's a really good episode. We had our beloved deacon Jorge Martinez, and he came, and he will, after this episode, we'll be uploading his episode, and it's titled How to Heal from Your Past. And it's a very powerful the whole episode's powerful. It's very emotional. Don't miss it, for sure. Do not miss that episode. It's really emotional. It's powerful. Like I said, his testimony is incredible. So yeah, I would like to say welcome to the team, Christy. Welcome. We're so happy that you're here. You're the youngest of all of us, and you know, it's cool because you're gonna bring a different atmosphere. You can say a different view and stuff. I remember me being 15. I didn't like. I wasn't like you. I wanted to just play around. So it's cool. It's cool that, you know, we have a 15-year-old now that she's gonna be putting in her views and you know, her opinions and whatever she studies for coming up in these episodes. Right now, it's not gonna be just Jacob and Jay and Ernesto. Or Brother Hector. Now we got Sister Yami and Sister Christy. Yeah. So we're excited. And hopefully we get another one, because the team keeps growing. And and then that's Jacob. Jacob said, "Yeah, it's time to let them take some reins on this." So. No, because it's exciting. It's exciting because now, you know, it's not just about seeing guys' faces. Now it's you know, young ladies that have gone through struggles as well. So that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah, because a lot of girls are listening too, right?
Yeah, a lot of girls are listening to the podcast. Actually, shout out to the young ladies that I met in Victoria.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I met some young ladies. Yeah, they told me that they watched the episode. Shout out to you, and shout out to the guy too. Everybody I met in Victoria. Shout out to everybody. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited, Christy, that you're joining. This is a very, very amazing team that God has built. It wasn't me, it was God, and yeah, I can't wait to see what God has in store for you girls. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, guys. This is it from us for today. It was a short podcast, just introducing our newest member. And I just want to thank, first of all, God for everything He's doing, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see what God has in store. I know that we've been talking about certain things as a team. I know some people have come up to me. They're like, "Are you gonna do a giveaway? Are you gonna do Are you gonna do merch?" And yeah, we've been talking about it with Brother Chris. He's kind of like the designer, and Jacob too. He's designed he actually designed one of the what are the crew neck?
Yeah, the college crew neck.
Yeah. He designed that, so it was cool. A lot of people liked it when he wore it on that episode. So you never know, it'll probably drop this year and during the winter. So is it still winter?
Yeah.
Did the hedgehog see his
the
shadow?
groundhog.
Oh, the groundhog. That's it, hedgehog. The groundhog. But yeah. So there's merch. We're creating some merch, and now we have Girl Intel as well, that they're gonna help in the aspect of creating stuff for the ladies as well. So we are super excited about that. But yeah, guys, thank you again for tuning in. Subscribe to all our social medias. Everything's Unbothered Bros on Instagram. Subscribe to us here on YouTube, and what else do we have? TikTok. Yeah, TikTok's back. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching so much. We see everybody engaging, and please leave a comment. Like if you have a suggestion, hey guys, I would love to hear this subject. Please give us the idea. Thank you so much, and remember, stay unbothered.
No worries can sway me, no fear can hold me down. In Christ, I'm victorious, wearing love's crown.